Hey guys, Bored now back with you for another TV review, and on this video I will be reviewing the second episode of Ares, which is this new Dutch supernatural drama from Netflix. It's a Netflix original. They put up all 8 episodes on Friday, and so this is going to be my review of episode 2. And for those who have seen the first review I did of this new series, I was pretty positive, and I'm pleased to say I'm even more positive on this one. Actually, I really enjoyed this one. So the first episode was certainly solid, and I quite enjoyed it, but it's one of those premises, I think, which really could go either way after the initial setup, and there's certain things in it where you think, well, this could either be great or really dumb depending on how they do it, but so far they seem to be doing a nice little job with it. I think the reason I really enjoyed this episode was just because it really got things down to basics. The whole thing was set at the this institution. It was set around this initiation ceremony for the new recruits, which obviously Rosa is one. But at the same time, it had a very sort of simplistic, tense sort of horror type feel to it, which was really effective. You had it's one of those shows, I think you can tell there's not that much of a budget to it, and I think that really benefits it. It does give it this very naturalistic, sort of very tense sort of feeling, and obviously there's some interesting ideas in play. So, for example, at the start of the episode, they've obviously all been blindfolded and they've entered this room, and suddenly they find these people in cloaks in front of them. It's all a little bit, eyes wide shut type thing, but they're trying to represent obviously hierarchies and, kind of these kind of weird sort of cult, niche institutes. But basically, the new recruits have a task, and that is that they're all connected by a chain. They're connected by the neck. They're all in this sort of chain type thing. So quite a nice little visual. And they suddenly realise, one of them reads out a note and that says, one of you doesn't belong here. You have 2 minutes to decide which one should leave. So the implication is that if they don't decide in 2 minutes, they're all gonna die, because there's a clock ticking. So, and it's a bomb basically. So 2 minutes on the clock. So again, nice little visual sort of moment to sort of crank up the tension. And a few of them immediately sort of start squabbling, and they start debating pretty much who is the most dispensable of the bunch. So they're trying to put pressures on one another to, saying, you've been here too long, or you haven't really contributed enough, so leave. So that's kind of the implication. Then if one of them doesn't leave within the allotted time, they all die. The bomb will go off. But Rosa is very smart, because she calls the hierarchy's bluff. She says to one of the guys, she says, it's just a test. They're just testing us to see if we work together or not. So he doesn't buy this, but the time has nearly run out anyway. So, but she's calls their bluffs, so they don't do anything. and that's it. She was right. So they come in and they appreciate, obviously, her, you know, her teamwork, whereas the others are squabbling. She's saying, let's just be loyal, let's just stay together. It's a test of our loyalty. And as it turns out, she was right in this game anyway. So they survive that, and then Jacob, we get the start of the ceremony, and the one who's like running it is getting them to kind of reveal secrets and be truthful. So the first one up is telling a story about how he killed someone, he ran someone over with a car. I'm not sure if it was on purpose or not, maybe, but and the head of the ceremony says, "Yeah, we don't make judgments. Thank you for your honesty." So it's that sort of thing, and then Jacob is called up. So we see more of Jacob in this episode. He becomes more like center of it. But he's called up, and we basically find out then he was sent to recruit Rosa. He was sent to get a new recruit, and obviously because of their friendship and the fact that Rosa was like this ambitious sort of medical student, he was either told or he decided, or he was supposed to target her. But he didn't want to do that because obviously he's been there 3 months, so he's really been traumatized by the place, so he's freaking out and doesn't want to put his best friend through that. So essentially he didn't do that. He says to the guy, he says, she doesn't belong here, and he's told, you failed, and because you tried to keep her away from this place, if you fail again there will be consequences. So it's a warning. And then Rosa is summoned up, and again this is really great stuff with Rosa, because she's first of all asked, why your best friend didn't want you here. And the guy, it's again playing in, because Rosa is like, like sort of half caste anyway, and she comes from obviously a poorer working class background than many of these kids. So that's sort of played up. The guy hosting this is sort of suggesting, oh, did he do it because of this? Because of your colour, the colour of your skin, because of you coming from a poor background. And what's so good about this moment is that Rosa turns that around on him, because she kind of says, well, maybe she either says that he's embarrassed by this place, or he didn't feel I was good enough for it, sort of thing. So that was a nice little like turnaround from her. I think, as I said in the last review, I think maybe her all this confidence she's getting and stuff maybe has been forced a little bit. It seems to have come out of the blue a bit, but it obviously works well enough, and she's obviously, it gives her like this active sort of role in the story, and makes her kind of a feisty type heroine. But it's an interesting thing they're doing with her anyway, because it's almost like she's slowly getting more and more power, but at the same time she risks like compromising herself. She risks putting herself in danger, and that's obviously what Jacob is trying to stop her from doing. So that's a really well played scene. But then we get into the meat of what this episode doing, and that is that Jacob freaks out again and he tries to escape, and so really the rest of the episode is the powers that be trying to get Jacob back. And what they do is they get Rosa to call his name, because they're saying, well, he'll respond to your name. And immediately she's saying, is this a test? So she's quite suspicious, but she goes along with it anyway. And for a long time, he doesn't respond. He's trying to get away, because he obviously cottons on to the fact that they're probably using Rosa to get to him. So you hear her calling his name in the background, and he's like running through the building, going to different places. You see him, eventually he goes like down to the basement, and this is where the shooting style and the sort of condensed sort of spaces really come into it, because you get some really tense moments here. You get like creaking floorboards and kind of really atmospheric creaks of doors, lots of really condensed sort of moments, lots of like really tense like little sounds. And the actor who plays Jacob does a really good job in this, actually. He looks really petrified. His reactions are really, really good. But yeah, it does feel like sort of like this little bottle movie at this point, which I really enjoy. Some good use of location and tension, and yeah, it just simplifies the plot and gives it some quite interesting stuff to play with. I think if each episode was like this, but a different sort of thing, but kind of similar, where you have like this horror or whatever it may be style plot, but give it like this one-off feel, but is still adding to the characters. I think that could work quite well. In the end, Jacob goes through this door, and he sees what Rosa saw her in her dream in the last episode, and that is like this mutilated sort of guy or creature, just going crazy, and all like as I said, mutilated, bloody, whatever it is, really squirming. Like it's almost like part creature, part human sort of thing. But that obviously freaks him out, and then he appears to pass out or something, but Rosa finds him, wakes him up, and she's there for him, and they have a moment, because it was revealed earlier he has a different surname at this place, and he sort of reveals that to her. He says that he's been using his like mother's surname all these years. And we hear that his father and like his grandfather both went to this institution, so it becomes like this family sort of thing, where it's almost like he's expected to go whether he wants to or not. But that's a nice little bonding moment for them, and a nice little reveal. And in the end, Rosa persuades him to go back. She says it's sort of best if we go back, and she just says to him, I think I know what's best for me. So that's kind of how it's all resolved. And again, Carmen, who's the one who befriended Rosa, is who gets her to try and find Jacob. So they're all happy, because it sort of shows her loyalty, it shows her potential in their eyes, what she's done. And that's, yeah. So the ceremony goes well for Rosa, they're all positive. She gets a hug from one of the other girls, because she's happy they've made it, they've survived. and there's all this different stuff going on. Carmen is like whispering to one of the other guys something or other, which we don't know. We see conversations in the distance, so a lot of potential for things moving forward. And the episode actually ends with like some sort of president, some sort of official upstairs in one of these rooms talking on the phone, and he's referred to as like Mr. President, and he's asked how the initiation ceremony has been going, and he says really well, and they mention how did the girl do, and he says really well. So they're obviously talking about Rosa, so that's obviously plays into them like really targeting her and focusing on her, particularly outside of the rest of the new recruits. So that's again quite interesting, and again this sense of hierarchy, but he's been up in this like fancy room like upstairs when they've been doing the initiation downstairs. So first time we've seen this character, but that's how the episode ends. So yeah, once again I had a good time with this. It's intriguing, it's a lot of fun so far. So that's my review of Aris episode 2. If you've seen the episode, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll be back with another review soon. See you guys soon. Goodbye.